Okay.
Time for some daily quests, where all your quests begin, and who better to start you on your adventure than your Trinity Game Masters. First up, we lost some MMOs in 2020. Time for a moment of silence, and apparently, F's in the chat for fail or we're sorry you're gone. Not sure at this point. I gotta look it up. Yes, I think they are way louder than me. You're right. I think I turned them down a little bit. Okay.
Oh my.
Okay. Anyways, Maple Story 2, gone. Dragon's Prophet, gone. Crucible, gone. Rend, gone. An Eve spinoff, gone. And Hex, Hex, gone. And maybe, according to this article from Massively OP, by the end of this month, on the deathbed is Life is Feudal. Anyways,
that's gone.
I'm not really caring about any of those. Okay, so sorry, nothing bad, nothing personal. All right. Next up, Ashes of Creation. One of the games I have kickstarted had a pretty good year last year. Okay, and a trio of Alpha 1 tests are coming. They already started with the winter and over the early spring. A brand new website is coming up. Okay, and there is possible word about selling more alpha keys. Even though I already kickstarted it, I don't need to buy anything else. But there you go. Possibly we will have that in the pipeline. Now, the story of the year we had last year, or we had this one point, we shook our head and lamented badly about this company, Chronicles of Illyria, which we thought was dead and still being sued. The lawsuit has not been withdrawn yet. Is apparently alive. It's alive. It's still in work. All right. And they probably will have a release date. So that was interesting. So that's all the daily quests I have for you guys. Pretty short and simple. I'll pass it off to Shazio. What do you got to daily us today?
Well, I didn't prepare too well today, but a couple of the bigger ones for this week that are on the top of my mind are, it was just announced, ArenaNet announced that the studio will be ending Mac support on Thursday, February 18th as a result of Apple's move away from OpenGL, which is a graphics technology that first started, well, I actually think it started before this, but the site that I pulled it on says 2018. Now, there are some folks who are saying that that's may not be as big of a deal because there are a lot of cloud gaming services out there, Stadia and etc., that you will still be able to play the game through. I don't have any confirmation of that. I don't know how true that is, but I'm assuming that you would be able to go through one of those third-party kind of services to continue playing if you wanted to. However, they are offering refunds, and they are turning off the ability to purchase things in-game via their Mac version of the game, because they don't want people spending it on there. They are also offering a way to transfer it over to a PC version if you're so inclined. But of course, if you own a bunch of Apple products, you're probably not a big fan of PCs. At least all of my friends are either one or the other, not both. I'm one of the very few that owns products from both. So I don't know. It's really kind of a bummer, being that last week I just talked about a little bit and been talking about for the past 6 months or however long it's been since the announcement was made that they have that expansion coming up this year. They have the World Story stuff coming out. And so it's really just a big bummer for those of you who play on Apple products, I should say, or on Mac.
Makes you wonder how many people on Mac actually play Guild Wars.
In my circle, I only know 2, but they have older Macs. They're not, I've tried to talk them into getting a PC. It is a lot cheaper, and there's a lot more available to you. There's a lot more support for gaming. That's my personal opinion, as well as millions of others' personal opinions. But in trying to save up for a new Mac, which they're very expensive, especially if you want to game on them. They're not quite there yet, and giving that OpenGL is going into the ocean of forgetfulness for Mac products. That's just going to be the end of it, unless you want to go through, like I said, any of those other gaming services that are popping out all over the place. And I've heard both good and bad things. I would say, if I was on a Mac right now and I had to go through a service, like I said, like Stadia or Amazon's one coming out, or any of them really, there already were, I should say, some issues, especially with PvP, with lag. And if you're going to add that cloud gaming lag on top of the already existing stuff, if you're into PvP, I would say, man, you're pretty much probably going to be done with the game and move to something else. I hate to be pessimistic like that, but that's the news that we're getting, and that's why it showed up on my list here for today, because it's a kind of a deal breaker for anyone that may have been interested in getting back into the game and they're on a Mac. I only know 2 of the 24 or so people that I know that still play Guild Wars 2 that are on Mac, and I haven't talked to them yet about this situation, so it's going to be kind of interesting. Maybe they'll finally go PC now that that's happened, but it takes money, and we're all hurting right now. A lot of people not working and whatnot because of the pandemic. So the second thing, I have seen the rumors all over the place. People are getting excited. I'm excited. Solomon's excited. Kennethan is getting kind of excited. By osmosis, he's kind of getting it off of us for Blue
Right.
Protocol. There have been a lot of rumors coming out that it's definitely going to be in North America release this year. They've came out and said, guys, no, the release for 2021 is in Asia. North American release, including Canada and South America and all in our time zone ranges, will be the next year, so 2022. There are some people that are still wanting to believe that it'll come out around Christmas time, late this year or whatever. I would like to believe that as well. I've been looking forward. You guys all know I've been talking about it for a while now. I'm looking very forward to playing it. It looks so awesome. And the little bit that I did play on it through a VPN, probably shouldn't have said that out loud. Don't be looking at me now. The little bit that I did get to play was just fantastic. So I just kind of wanted to put that out there, because there have been a lot of websites that are giving some false information, some false hope to those of us looking forward to it who live in the United States and Canada. I have several friends in Canada that are looking forward to it as well. According to the game studio, that is not true. That's not what's happening. It may have happened before the pandemic began. They're saying that they really wanted to release it, a full release, I should say, not alpha or beta, in Asia last year, and that would have put a North American release this year. However, things have slowed to a crawl as far as development goes, and they really want to make this game right. They want it to be as good as it can be. And again, like the 3 of us have been saying about New World, kudos to that studio for doing that, because we want the games that we receive to be playable, and we want it to work right, and we want it to be the best that it can be, as well as the players. So if it takes till next year, then it takes till next year, and I'm okay with that.
Yep.
But
No, fair enough.
yeah.
Yep. Yeah, that's the thing, right? I mean, every year especially the games that I've kickstarted, I keep wondering, is this the year? When you look at all the games that are possibly coming out this year, we chatted about them last week. Some of them are like
Right.
2021 or 22. And you're like, whatever. Okay. I mean, I've been waiting for Crowfall and
Oh,
Camelot
gosh.
Unchained
Yeah.
and then Corsidia Titans. Some people on this call, not me, been waiting for that game, that space game, that the game we
Or
won't
did
talk
it say-
about, because
I
even
just
then,
said it. I'm going to say it.
it's still a delay. Anyway, so
Yes.
yeah, so all right. Solomon, what daily quest do you have to daily us today?
Fairly, not fairly, but oh, excuse me. Earlier this week, we had rumors that Burning Crusade might actually be something that will be added to the
Oh, yeah.
classic World of Warcraft classic servers. Nothing's been really confirmed yet, at least not that I've heard of, but there might be a closed beta test for Burning Crusade, I believe in February, and with the release potentially in March. But again, take everything with a grain of salt. Those are just rumors as of right now. There's a new MMORPG being developed that I fairly looking forward to, just because it's very different from anything I've ever seen. And this is Age of Water. It's a seafaring MMORPG, but it's not really anything like Sea of Thieves, in such that it's a game where it's post-apocalyptic rather than a pirate setting, which I think is really cool, because we really don't have a whole lot of post-apocalyptic MMORPGs out there. And even if it was a post-apocalyptic MMORPG, it's not a seafaring one. So that of in itself makes me super interested, because it's so radically different from anything that we've ever seen. And so yeah, it should be pretty interesting to see where this goes. I think they're doing an alpha test right now, with future tests definitely planned. And so I'm keeping a close eye on that particular MMORPG. There's other ones being developed right now, but as of ones that I've never heard of, and ones that I am looking forward to because of the differentness, I guess you could say, from all the other MMORPGs. Age of Water is definitely on top of that list. There's also Grand Saga, which is a cross-platform MMORPG for the PC and the mobile platform. That is finally being released in Korea, I believe January 28th or 23rd or 20 something, from what I can remember. Hopefully we get that in the Western Shores. And if you don't know anything about Grand Saga, it looks and plays very similarly, it seems like, to Genshin Impact. And so that's why I kind of, on my thumbnail for today's video, or yesterday's video, today's video actually, I put Genshin Impact 2.0, not patch 2.0, but as in like Genshin Impact sort of style game, but online. So yeah, for those of you who massively enjoyed Genshin Impact, you got something to look forward to. If you're looking for a game such as Genshin Impact, but with more of an online twist to things. Let's see. I think that's about it in terms of really interesting stuff. Let me look at my
Well, I
notes
know
here
that
real
folks would have heard about Age of Waters if they've watched your
quick.
YouTube channel, because that's where I found out about it. I'm like, what this? I didn't know before, because I listen to the Coffee and RPG Network, where I get my MMO news.
Thanks, Dad.
I mean, I'm just wondering, is Kevin Costner going to be in it? Is the
Right?
Waterworld?
It does give you a feel Waterworld type thing, yeah.
I
It
would be
does.
fine with that. Actually, that would make a great MMO.
I think it would. I think it honestly would. Yeah, I'm with you on that.
Well, you know what's funny is that people were talking about, this is 2021. Are we now allowed to wear the Mad Max costumes.
Oh,
That movie was based in 2021.
it's true.
I had forgot about that.
It is so weird to see these movies that we saw like 20, 30 years ago, and like the future, right? The future is this, right? And now we're
Right.
here. Like Back to the Future was 2015. No, we don't have hover cars and floating skateboards, and we missed it by a year or so. The Cubs winning the World Series, but it's always interesting or even back to the 2001, A Space Odyssey. Not quite there yet. Anything else, Solomon? Sorry.
No, well, a few things. Blade and Soul is celebrating its 5th anniversary on January 13th, and DC Universe is celebrating its 10th anniversary.
10 years. You beat that?
I thought this game went offline, to be completely honest with you. I thought
DCOO, I know, still around. Yeah.
that is crazy to me.
It's not a City of Heroes knockoff or even a thing. It's different because it's definitely DC Universe.
Mm-hmm.
The Marvel one got pulled offline because it could do, I think, copyright or other issues. Finally, the final plug was pulled because apparently the people, the CEO or the leaders of the companies had some ethical issues. I forget.
One last thing I wanted to mention is that the guy that did the cosplay for the World of Warcraft guy, he passed away from COVID.
Yep.
Which I thought was really sad. So yeah, it's just a sobering thought that,
Yep.
I mean, I know a lot of us probably have felt the repercussions of COVID. We probably know somebody or know of somebody who passed away from it. So yeah, definitely take care of yourself, guys. And yeah, that's it for me.
I've been fortunate that I've not known anybody to pass away from it. I do know myself personally who've had COVID. So yeah, I'm sure there might be somewhere along the line people I know that I didn't think about dying of COVID.
But yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
That's it.
All right. Let me see if this button works for the story quest. Cyberpunk 2077 has been the news recently. It was not on any of the award shows because it was kind of too new when it came out, especially the Game Award show that we watched. But Cyberpunk 2077 has had some issues, okay? I think mainly in the realm of the older platforms, PlayStation 4 and Xbox One, not necessarily on the PC or Xbox Series X or PS5. People are pissed, okay, and they want their money back. So there's an article that came out that we generally talked about this morning or yesterday morning on the Hear Me Out show. Was people are like questioning whether or not pre-orders should just die now, or pre-orders are dead, or maybe this will make you think secondly or thirdly about ever pre-ordering again. So I thought, why not ask the question here, okay? Because also we've also done Kickstarters, like that one game we won't mention that I did not kickstart, but my buddies here have, as well as other games I have kickstarted that have been years along. Okay, so that now we are into the officially into the second decade of the 2000s. Is it time to stop tossing money into a hole? I've had this chat with my other son. I don't want to say my son because then Solomon gets all mad because I didn't mention him either. Okay, but my other son, and he is at the point he's like, I am done, but he's not really. Okay, he'll pre-order Final Fantasy 14 sequels. Okay, because I am done. But again, he'll pre-order a game he likes. Okay, but he's like Bethesda, BioWare, EA, the big companies. He's like, I'm done. They've lost, or even Ubisoft. They've lost their caveat, their cachet. Okay, now CD Projekt Red had a sizable following saying, hey, you really do good jobs, and you basically will wait to put out good games. And they lost part of the reputation because it wasn't that the game had issues, okay? It was because they kept saying, it's good, it's good, it's good, released it, oh, it's not good enough, and you should have told people, okay?
It's a good game, though.
So anyway, huh?
It's a good game. A+ in my book.
So for me, I'm going to set my opinion first, okay, is the fact that I think that in the end, we're not going to be done with kickstarting or pre-orders. Kickstarters have evolved over time. People are a little more reluctant, I think. They want to put something behind it, but they're also still willing to put something behind it. It's like, $30-40. What's the big deal? No big deal. Okay. If I can help a company out, I almost feel like you're helping you're helping me part of the process. And I think if you found a game you really wanted and you wanted to play it, and if you're someone who likes to have the cosmetics and or the extra stuff, you'll do it anyways. I really don't see it going away. I still see it's going to be part of the process. I know that in the old days, pre-ordering was much more based around actually going out and getting a physical copy of a game. So therefore, you want to have it in your hands so you can go home. I mean, I think Sir Jaziel mentioned that he actually went to another store at midnight to pick up his WoW game and come home in time to play it. Okay, because that was back in the day. Nowadays, only thing you're gonna get is cosmetics. So since I mentioned you, Jaziel, let's toss it to you. Boop. What are your thoughts? Are we still with the pre-order Kickstarter world, or is it done? Are you over it?
Well, I've got a couple of different things run through my mind, and one of them is that the buyer does need to be aware, but there should be consumer protections. Honestly, there needs to be more protections for people who are willing to help kickstart or GoFundMe or any other platform these games, and then the games do not either perform or they do not deliver the promises that were given at the time of that investment. To me, it's not legally a business contract, but loosely it is a business contract that you're saying, I see that you're offering this, and in exchange for that, I'm going to give you this. And when that's not delivered to you, then there should be a full refund there. Now, I don't think that there should be any damages or anything, unless their code blows your computer up or your console, which I don't know how they do that, but I'm sure it's possible. In the case of Cyberpunk, I will say I wouldn't give it an A plus, but I played through it on the PC and it had issues, and it definitely was not as deep as I thought it was going to be. And there are definitely features in there that were not in there that I was expecting, because they had promised those features to be in there. And there was wording that was used that I just expected a different product than what I received. There have been, again, as you're alluding to a couple times already tonight, there's more than just that one that I've invested in that I'm still waiting. We don't have a product. Sure, I can go in and play the beta, and it's a mess. And I've had one or two that I have got refunds from because the company just they went under. They ran out of money. It wasn't ready to be released yet, and they just went, well, I guess we're done. Um, so I don't think overall that it's done. I think that people are going to they're going to do that buyer beware. They're going to take that more seriously now. Hopefully, all of you start taking that more seriously, and we start thinking about things like that. Is this a studio that has put out a product, a game that you have, or software that you've enjoyed in the past, and you trust that they're going to deliver what they're promising? Or is this some new studio put together, maybe with a couple of devs and CEOs and COOs and everybody else, that's kind of came together from a previous studio that you had faith in, such as we've been talking a little bit about all these ex-Blizzard employees, Activision employees that have came together and made their own little studios, and they're working on projects. People that we trusted in the past that delivered something. I would still say buyer beware, man, and just I sound like I sound like I'm being so pessimistic tonight, but the thing is, you have to be mindful that you probably are not going to get the product that you have in your mind. Um, and I am getting to the point. This is just on a personal level. I'm not saying that everyone else should feel this way, but I am starting to get to the point where I'm like, we'll take what they're saying and we'll dial it down by 50%, and I'll expect that. And if I get that, then I'll be happy. And hopefully they can tack on the other stuff with an expansion or with patches or whatever later on. Especially if you're talking MMOs that are just a perpetual forever. Well, not forever, as we just talked about all the RIPs earlier, the F's in chat. But, a good decade, hopefully, that they last, that they'll provide that for you.
Yeah.
But like I said, I do wish that there were more consumer protections for situations where, wow, they did not deliver what I paid for
Yeah.
at all. And I will say, while Solomon and I had pretty good experiences with Cyberpunk, which isn't an MMO, they are supposed to put an online co-op or MMO version of it at some point, but we'll see. I do know several people that played it on consoles, and it was awful, almost unplayable. They definitely deserve a refund. That's
Yeah.
just not. That's not right. It's not
Yeah,
right at
that's the
all.
thing. I like your idea. Thought so. First off, Kickstarters. We all know buying into it that you put money in, you're probably going to lose it. That's why anyone who's suing for Chronicles
Right.
of Illyria, I think, is stupid because you knew going in, you signed Kickstarter. It talks about that. Okay, it literally is saying you will lose your money, and people who Kickstarter
That's
know that.
true.
The
That's
Cyberpunk
true.
one is different because they literally put money down for a game that they're being told would work,
Mm.
and it doesn't work. And then there was a fight about we're not giving refunds. It's like, what? It's like you should. They finally started doing that. Of course, one guy got kind of mad. He was tweeting out the fact that he got his refund. Microsoft gave him his refund, and then wherever the Xbox store, whatever they have, right? Then deleted it from his computer or his console, and he got mad. What? I wanted to play
Well,
it. Like, you got the freaking refund, and you still wanted the game.
Uh,
yeah,
You
that's.
lying piece of whatever.
If you're going
Okay.
to get whatever you traded for that, it would be the same if you went to the store and you bought a T-shirt and the T-shirt says XXL on it, but it's actually
Right.
a large, just a regular large. You take it back to the store and you say, "I want my money back." They're not going to let you keep the shirt, too. You got to
Right.
trade
Nope.
back
Yep.
whatever you traded for that,
That's
and in
right.
this
Yeah.
case, you trade money for that product. So that's
All right, Solomon. What
interesting.
are your thoughts on all of this?
to, to kind of
Go
digress
ahead.
a little bit, your story about that guy earlier who wanted the refund and wanted to keep the game.
Yeah.
There was a story that I heard where a streamer, I forgot his name, but he held like a contest where you get a free copy of any game of your choice, and the person wanted a copy of Cyberpunk. And this was like months ago, like months before the game was released, and the game finally released, and then the guy who won contacted the guy the streamer who did the contest. He's like, you know what, I don't want this game anymore. It's a really bad game, so if you could refund me, or at least give me a like $50 gift card or something like that, like, I think we could settle the issue that way. And he's just like, wait,
That was lame. Yeah.
I give you a free copy of a game, and you feel like you're owed a $50 game card because the game sucked. How is that my fault?
Yeah.
And the guy's like, well, if you don't give me that $50 game card, then I'm gonna leak our DMs and basically try to cancel you. But the streamer, leaked the DMs anyways. Like, he's the first. He did it first, and everybody's
That's lame. I know. That's
yeah. So
too many people feel entitled. That's a totally different
oh
topic
yeah,
right
that
now.
was
But
a
yeah,
pretty bad entitlement.
people who get mad about the game being bad and they want something whatever. Okay.
I had a good laugh when I read that. Anyways, in terms of pre-orders, my opinion of pre-orders kind of shift over the years. I used to pre-order a lot, like 10 years ago. I was an avid collector of just games in general, especially physical copies. Like I still am. Um but I would generally pre-order something if I knew there was a limited amount of something that I wanted. And I come at it more so in like, I wouldn't say archaeological point of view, but like, oh crap, like this could be worth a lot of money, like, 5, 10, 20 years down the line or something like that. So, um, I generally agree with the pre-order, I don't know what you would call it, epidemic, I guess, to kind of put it euphemistically. I think typically it's a bad idea, but again, if they're going to package something that is in a limited amount, like that Fallout helmet that you got with 76, I think I would have done it just because I knew at the end of the day something like that could be worth um not thousands. Well, maybe it could, but like, 10 years from now it could be like, oh, it could be one of those things where it would show up on the history channels, oh, what do they call those? Where they go around and they go to like those two
Tombs of the
guys.
Pharaohs.
No, well,
Oh, you're talking about the people who go to
American
those
Pickers.
yeah, American
Yeah, yeah.
Pickers. There you go. Yeah,
Yeah.
like my imagination kind of likes to run wild, and it's just like, hey, what if, like they find my collector's edition 100 years from now in some random garage, and stuff like that. So that's why I do it, just for the for the novelty of things.
Yeah, no,
But
I get that.
yeah, that's about it, really. I mean, pre-ordering for the game itself, I rarely do. I didn't. No, that's a lie. I did pre-order it, but Cyberpunk 2077. But that was like, I purchased it before it came out because I wanted to pre-download it. I didn't want to wait for potential long queue times of just like sitting there waiting for the
Yeah.
game to download. So that's why I bought it before it came out. Other than that, the last game that I pre-ordered, I can't even remember. It's been that long. So yeah.
Well, I know I pre-ordered Shadowlands because I had to do the launch day, even though I did it like the day before the launch day. I was not. To me, the perks weren't worth it. Except I just want to be one of the first ones in. And then I know that prior. I mean, obviously Fallout 76 I did for sure. I also pre-ordered Mass Effect Andromeda, and I think I might have pre-ordered Anthem, which is why my son just shakes his head. But I don't regret pre-ordering the Fallout 76. I got the power armor helmet. That's what I did it for. Otherwise I wouldn't have been able to get it. So yeah.
Yeah, the helmet's cool.
I I said I think I'm not going to stop pre-ordering it. It depends on the game. I mean, Lily, some companies still have earned my respect and my trust in them. Others, I'm hesitant. Like with if they do ever, I mean, they've teased the idea of a new Mass Effect, not the Mass Effect remaster they're working on, or teasing that one too, but literally new Mass Effect. And I'm thinking, I got burned with Andromeda. I might still pre-order that one anyways, just because I would think they were to make a change. And again, Anthem didn't quite work out the way I thought it would be. Like, hey, they learned their lessons from other games, and so they won't make them for Anthem. So, anyways, anybody in chat or anybody in watching these videos, let us know what you think. Comment below. We would love to hear your responses on this stuff and see what you do. Do you kickstart? Do you pre-order? Or have you sworn them off now? You got burnt too many times. You were left at the altar one too many times, and you're like, nope, I'm not getting married ever again. All right. Next up is this. When you watch this video on Solomon's channel, those gaps, on my channel, there are actually some music and some audio there, but when Solomon's videos, they're like just gaps, and I feel kind of bad.
Yeah, that's
Oh, well.
fine. I generally find most of them, but it is what it is.
Okay. Anyways, now comes our escort quest because we are wanting very much always to lead you to safety, experience, and the adventure of a lifetime, which leads you to player guides. I don't know why it came to my mind. I thought about this because I did back in the day buy player guides. And player guides, of course, back then were because there wasn't really an internet. I mean, I was reading Sid Meier's memoirs, and he reminded me that it was in '94 that one of the game developers who went to England for like 9 months, his wife was over there, got a scholarship, and he was working on a new game, which happened to become Civilization 2. And they needed to stay in touch with him because they didn't really have an opportunity. So he mentioned Prodigy, 1994. I had Prodigy before AOL. I didn't have CompuServe, but I had Prodigy. So, but back in the day, there wasn't like a lot of things online. You can go research it. There weren't even a lot of videos to watch. I mean, I got to know who, um, oh my gosh, well, he's now a Blizzard community manager with the kind of fuzzy hair. He used to make all those videos. He was in a raid team that made videos about the bosses and lore. That's it, lore.
Oh,
Anyways,
okay.
yeah, I love those videos. I learned a lot from them. But anyways, I thought I'd put it out there. Okay, do player guides and or other things you see online, do they take away the fun of learning, or are they an excellent supplement to the game? Or I don't care. Solomon, what are your thoughts on player guides and just the general help you get on playing the game?
Oh man. There's it depends. I say that for everything, but hear me out on
Well, it's
this.
true. I agree.
So there are actual like guides, like book for hang on, do I have any? Give me a sec. Hang on.
Well, I have Brady guides here for like Railroad Tycoon 3. I even have Dark Age of Camelot. And I think also I might even have a WoW guide back, So these are cool. This is not the manual from the game itself. Okay, this literally was made by a company that made this for Railroad Tycoon 3.
We can't see you, Dad, remember?
You're not seeing, but they're seeing on screen.
I know. So I think one of my favorite guides that in a physical form would be the Fallout 3 Game of the Year edition guide.
Oh, nice. Okay.
And it's just massive, and they actually numbered them. This is number 41,615. And these were actually limited, right? Which I thought was really cool. So it comes with like different strategies and different tips and stuff like that, and it was very comprehensive. I've actually found out stuff about the game that I didn't even know existed because of this guide, so I thought this was really cool. So yeah, when it comes to like this sort of stuff, yeah, I think it actually really enhances the game's experience, just because like they done it in a way such that it just fits with the lore almost.
Okay. Yeah.
So there's that. There's that one aspect of guides, if you will. Another aspect is oh man, back in the day when I was in like high school, GameFAQs.com was like a huge thing because that's where you would actually find guides to all sorts of games. Like people
even
would
cheat codes, if I recall.
Yeah, cheat codes and stuff too. Yeah, and people would literally, I guess, in their spare time, write guides in a document form, like probably bigger than this book.
Oh yeah.
Right, and you could download it. Yeah,
I remember that.
And you could like download it and print it, and if you were to print it, it would like just eat up all your paper, And the reason why I mentioned that is because there are some games out there that I really wanted to play, but I didn't, but I did. And let me explain. So I hate horror games. I do terribly when it comes to horror games.
Yeah, I don't like them either.
I could get away with zombies because zombies are tangible, tangible threats that you could, shoot in the head. But like ghosts and supernatural stuff, I can't do. But I really wanted to play Silent Hill. Like there was something about the game that looked really exciting, but I just didn't want to play it, but I did. And so I remember going to my high school, and secretly, without anyone knowing, or they probably know now. Printing out the guide for Silent Hill, and it was literally like this thick. I ate up so much ink and paper, and I needed that guide to kind of hold my hand because it would tell me what to do, when to do it. There's like limited resources. I believe it was Silent Hill The Room, and there was like you're limited to these silver swords or whatever swords. There's like 2 and 3 in the entire game, and if you actually use the sword on particular bosses, it would prevent them from showing up ever again because some of them would hunt you constantly, sort of like Nemesis from Resident Evil 3. And so I would, when I play it, I would just read through it along with it. It's just so that I wouldn't get scared.
Okay.
And so in that case, I was definitely blessed to have that guide because there's no way I would have played Silent Hill or any of those type of games if I had not had those guides. And I'm really glad that I had those guides because then now I could say I had that experience of playing Silent Hill and be able to share that with you and just connect with people who have. Thirdly, can it ruin the experience? I think that depends too, just because I know a lot of people out there that just want the quick and easy and just want to get it over with, and that's fine. I can't really think of an instance where you're playing a game and you're just so tempted to play or look at a guide or understand how to play it so much so that it becomes like this gnawing temptation or whatever you want to call it. Like I can't think of a circumstances where that actually is a thing in any event. So yeah, I guess there's only really 2 for me in that book. So book, get it? I said book anyway.
Yeah. What's interesting is the fact that back in the day, again, right? So I went to my old games here, right? I mean, I have the old original King's Quest games. My wife loved the King's Quest games because they were actually adventure, but they were puzzles too. And I remember I wasn't that much into those kind of games as much as I was like into building games like Railroad Tycoon or Civilization. And so I remember you couldn't really find a guide. You had to actually figure it out. So you're much more, but they also probably played the game in a much more deeper way and probably took you longer to play it too. So that's why I was thinking like the fact that, player guides are definitely helpful. I think if you use it as a cheat code, I mean, we all know that happens. Okay. Then you're ruining the experience. Okay. You're ruining what the devs are trying to do. If you're using it as a supplement to help you get through some things, if you're literally stuck somewhere and you just can't seem to get it, it's just not working.
Yep.
Then yeah, I think it helps. Okay. When you follow it verbatim, then what have you done? You're not playing the game. You're just following a guide. So I think it's a useful tool. I'm not mad about it. I think it depends. Like you said, it depends. What's interesting is that again, reading Sid Meier's memoirs, when he finally got the chance to test out Civilization 2, remember I said somebody else actually did the actual coding and the work on it and redeveloping it. He just kind of helped out, guided his name because he kind of did enough work to help out. He didn't do any of the coding. Started playing it and he goes, "Oh, look at this!" He first thing he notices on top of his screen because now we're in Windows 3.1 was the game menu, and one of the game menu things said cheat, and he was like, okay." So I was like, he was against that idea. But it wasn't about cheating. It was about modifying certain things that you can make the game little to your way. And what he found out was that opened the door to modding. And that's what we all know about for all the games Civilization following. Mods have been I remember now thinking about the fact that I downloaded several mods. I think it was Civ 3, just trying different things. The community was just enamored with it. So I find these things that remember God Mode Activated when we first created the name, people my age, God mode means cheat code. But younger generations like God mode just like that's just another mode. It's just mean I can just turn everything off and just do what I want. It's like just a way of playing the game. I'm not really intending on winning the game that direction because I'm not cheating. I'm just playing the game in a different way versus those who actually went on the like you mentioned those websites and find the cheat codes. If you type in XYZ 32973 somewhere and then all of a sudden you get faster. I don't know. That's why speedrunners are rather cool because they're playing the game with the broken holes. Don't get me wrong. I get the fact, okay? But that is the game. Even with the holes in the game, it's still the game. All right. So again, once you guys here in chat or in YouTube, whatever it is, let us know what your thoughts are. Player guides, good, bad, or meh. Don't want to bother with them. All right. World quests are coming up, but we're
Wait,
not there yet.
Did Sergio Azil give his 2 cents?
Oh, no, I didn't. I mean, cut out this part. I'm not putting it. Jazil. Okay, you've heard from me and Solomon. What are your thoughts on player guides?
I bought quite a few of them back in the 90s. It seems like the only one that I bought after that was in 2004 for World of Warcraft. And that was more as a collector for the art and the lore that was included in it. And
Oh, yeah, true.
and kind of to get a good, know which. Although, as I recall, the manual didn't really give too many details as to what's the best race class combination, things like that. But it was just really more for collecting it. I wish I would have had more time. I would have gone and grabbed some of them to show off as well. But um, mine was more as far as games in the 90s, the single player stuff. Was usually after I had already completed it. And I've always been, whether it's my OCD or whatever you want to blame it on, I always love the challenge of trying to 100% a game. And every once in a while, I would run into a game that I just couldn't figure out where that thing was that I was missing to do that. And, the game stores would really frown upon you going into their store and reading the book in the back corner and trying to, you know.
Yeah.
And we didn't have these fancy phones back then to take pictures of the page that we needed or anything or internet. I didn't have internet till January or February of 1994, I think it was when I first got internet. Um, so yeah, it was more about my second playthrough and trying to 100% the game, and I had no problem with that. I still had fun playing the game. I still had fun making that accomplishment, even though I needed a little bit of help. And usually it would turn out it was something that was just like slap my forehead, kind of like, oh, of course
Yeah,
I
I
didn't
know.
go,
Yeah.
Oh
Like,
yeah,
why didn't
well,
I search? Of course, I should have searched that pile. Why didn't I?
right, exactly, or go down that corridor, that I thought was a dead end or whatever. And as far as modern day, I don't I don't mind it at all. It There's people that find enjoyment out of having whatever help that they can get to do their best. And although most of that's done online now, it's a lot easier just to look up a website, a fan site, or what have you to get that information from, or just Google it and
Yeah.
find your information that way, as opposed to how we old guys used to do it and going to buy a book. But I still buy the books, of course. Again, if I would have known about it, I could have grabbed those too. I have all the Chronicles books, but that's lore for World of Warcraft.
Yeah.
And art, of course, the art books. I love art books, in case people haven't picked up on that yet. But you know what? The thing is, I think they should be available. The website should be available. Cheat codes should be available. If that's how you enjoy playing the game, I know people that play games like Civilization or the city builder simulation games where maybe they don't like the idea of only being able to build a little bit at a time. They want to put the cheat code in to have unlimited money, for instance. So that, like City Skylines, for instance, they want to go in there and mod it to be able
Yeah.
to build everything right from the start instead of having to work your way up to it. You know what? If that's how you have fun, I'm not going to knock it. That's fine. Um, I like to try things out on my own and try to figure things out and to play the game as it was intended to be played. But if I get stuck, I mean, no harm in going to Wowhead or whatever website that you need to go to look that up and figure out what you're doing wrong. And like I
Yeah.
said, have that facepalm moment where you're like, oh, duh.
Yeah, because we also know nowadays there are people who cheat to beyond just the cheat codes, but they have these different bots or whatnot. And you're like, you're playing a game going, how did that person shoot me through the wall?
Mm.
Or how they know where I was at? Well, because they have a
Well,
cheat
that's
bot. So cheaters will always be
yeah,
cheaters, you know. So I think that player guides and or
true.
the kind of stuff helps those who are actually legitimately want to play the game and know it well.
Well, when the cheats disrupt the game as a whole,
Yeah.
which that becomes an issue in MMOs, that's
Yeah.
affects us really awfully, especially in Elder Scrolls Online and World of Warcraft, and Guild Wars 2, and I'm not sure about Final Fantasy, but I'm assuming it probably goes on. Um, where when your cheating crosses over and starts affecting
Yeah.
other people's gameplay and destroying it in some way, then that's not
Yeah.
cool.
Too
I
far.
don't appreciate that. Yeah.
I agree. All right. Sorry for skipping you. Thank
All
you,
right. It's fine.
Solomon,
It's fine.
for missing that.
I was like, did I talk before Solomon? I must have.
I no, I always switch it up. Try to switch it up. Who's first
Yeah,
and
good.
second? And when because I did I yeah, I don't know why I thought Solomon was last this time, so my bad. Anyways, that's about it
Uh,
for today's show. But hey, world events are coming up. As true, we do have New World coming out in May. We are still working on whether other kind of games are coming out. I'm not aware of. We'll see about that. But yeah, come join us when we do a launch party for New World in May. Assuming don't delay it again, we'll be doing that. Okay, so yeah, there you go. Not aware of any other events happening. I know that Final Fantasy 14 is going to have their event, their streaming whatever his event, talk about stuff for I think the next expansion, obviously, because they're getting done with their current content, and all the fans of Final Fantasy 14 are clamoring for more because they love the game and they're waiting for the next step. So there you go. All right, our quests are done, the dungeons are cleared, and the loot has been distributed, and the crafting orders are completed. So it's time to go AFK. Woohoo! Time to well, I didn't say log off. I said go AFK. So Solomon, where can we find you at?
YouTube channel, Coffee and RPGs, as always, as you mentioned earlier multiple times, which I do appreciate. Um, I did create a second YouTube channel where I just take certain scenes from video games and just kind of make a quasi ASMR channel. You can find a link to that from Coffee and RPGs as well. But yeah, that's it really.
All right.
I want to make other. I want to try to use. I'm not gonna. Whoa. Something just
Show me
came in.
some TikTok videos.
I'm going to try and make other accounts start using other alternative platforms such as maybe BitChute and stuff like that. The reason might be obvious, maybe not, but yeah, I'm looking to expand a little bit, get my brand out there a little bit better. So but yeah, for now it's on YouTube on Coffee and RPGs.
Yoshi is the most awesome moderator I've ever seen. The dude is just knocks it out. Okay. All right. So Jazil, where can I find you at?
for right now, just on here on this show and Discord and World of Warcraft. Um, yeah, I don't. I'm trying to figure out a way to get back to streaming again, but right now we're having some issues. So yeah,
Is someone mad, Dad?
I that wasn't yeah that I don't know what's going on there. I could say really angry that I'm not streaming right now.
All right. Thank you. And as always, there's me on this channel on the twitch.tv. Kenneth, and you also can find me on Twitter's as long as we're still there before I get kicked off to Kenneth Live. I've also been known to make some YouTube videos as well as some TikTok videos. So you can follow me there too. You'll find that in my social stuff and yeah, where we are. But anyways, thank you everyone for being here. Thank you for being here. And once again, Yoshi just knocking it out of the park with all of these wonderful things he does. And he's been awesome. And yeah. And by the way, I know that we joke around about Solomon always fishing in BDO, but I did do some fishing in New World the other day. And I'm like, it's not quite AFK type of thing. You still gotta watch that bob go up and down, and then
Oh,
you gotta do some work. Okay, I don't know how that's relaxing,
how boring.
But anyways, there you are. All right, we will see you next week again for another episode of the Trinity MMO Show. Saturdays here, 6 p.m. Pacific Time, 9 p.m. Eastern. Love to have you there. Always welcome your comments and feedback, and always welcome for you guys to give us any more topics or ideas that we might be missing, or anything that you're thinking about that you want to hear about MMORPGs and just our opinion. So there you go. God bless you guys, and we'll see you next week.